Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So let's get right into it. In free agency, they actually lost a couple of offensive linemen. Marquise Pouncey, the center, he retired. David DeCastro, he actually, I guess, is having ankle surgery. He is up to this point still a free agent. I think they actually cut him a couple of weeks ago. And, he was asked if he might have to hang him up, and he said, I don't know at this point. Well, guys, we'll just see how the surgery goes. So he actually might be done playing as well. Also, Alejandro Villanueva, the left tackle for the Steelers, he actually is on the Ravens now. Then they lost a corner and Steven Nelson. And then obviously with Bud Dupree, he signed with the Tennessee Titans. So obviously with losing a lot of those guys, you do have to replace them, and we'll get into that. But in terms of guys that they did re-sign, obviously Big Ben's not a re-sign, but he decided to come back, so that's huge. You didn't have a need at quarterback. They also were able to re-sign Tyson Alualu, so that was big too, because he was a very good edge rusher for them. And then lastly, they re-signed Juju Smith-Schuster. Obviously, he had a couple, one-year deals elsewhere, and he just decided to stay in Pittsburgh. I think for him, it's probably a good move. If you weren't going to get a long-term deal, it's better to re-sign a one-year deal with a team that already knows how to utilize you, so you don't have to worry about signing a prove-it deal on a brand-new team with a brand-new quarterback and a brand-new coordinator. In terms of free agent signings, there really wasn't much. Obviously, about a week ago or so ago, they signed Melvin Ingram, the pass rusher from the Chargers. So obviously, if he can come in and give you some rotational snaps, that'd be huge because, again, the Pittsburgh Steelers front seven is already very good to begin with. So I guess quickly, let me just get right into the draft. This one's going to be a pretty quick video. In the draft, they obviously took Najee Harris with the first pick in their first round, which is pick number 24, Then at pick 55, they took Pat Freiermuth, the tight end. With pick 87, they took a center/guard in Kendrick Green. And then quickly, let me just go over the rest of the draft. Pick 128, they took another offensive lineman, a tackle this time, Dan Moore. Pick 140, they took a linebacker in Buddy Johnson. Pick 156, they took an edge rusher in Isaiah Loudermilk. Pick 216, they took another edge rusher, Quincy Roche. Pick 245, they took a cornerback, Trey Norwood. And then pick 254, they took a punter, Presley Harvin III. So very quickly, again, like you've seen in all these videos, I like to focus on those top 100 picks. It's really those first 3 rounds. Those are the guys that are going to make significant contributions to the football team. Again, there will be players that were drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds that do make a roster and contribute significantly, but those players are usually 1 or 2 per draft. So instead of focus on those picks, let's just focus on the guys that might actually help the roster. And really, I think if you look at those first 3 picks, they're all really, needs at that point if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? If you look at the rushing attack, they were the worst in the league. So obviously getting a running back that's dynamic is probably a very good pick, even though, again, drafting running backs early usually is not great just because the position is kind of devalued. But if he can come in there and be a Pro Bowl caliber running back right away, which you do see out of running backs pretty often, it would be a great pickup for them. And then with the other 2 picks, you're getting a tight end, so another short weapon for Roethlisberger to throw to. I don't mean short in terms of his height, I just mean as a tight end, right? You kind of have short intermediate routes. Again, Roethlisberger, you could tell he's getting older, right? He's not able to drive the ball down the field like he did in the years prior, right? And there was a big stat, going into the playoffs. With Roethlisberger, his air yardage was one of the shortest in the league. But again, once you're a quarterback and you're getting older, you obviously don't have the same physical tools you had when you were younger. So it makes sense. And then with the 3rd pick at 87, you take a center/guard. Again, you have to start to rebuild that offensive line. They were very good for a long time. And, similar to a lot of offensive lines like Dallas and the Eagles, all 3 of those were really considered top 5 offensive linemen for most of the last 5-6 years. And again, it's just football, right? Just any sport, really. You get old eventually, and those older players start to diminish in skills. And then now that some of them are retiring, now you have to essentially get your replacements. So quickly, I just want to go over the money. Right now, they have about $12.7 million of cap space, so not too much. That's why you didn't see too many big name signings. Next year, they're going to have $72 million. And that's obviously because this is, I think, Roethlisberger's official last year on his contract. So if he were to hang it up after this year, you have $72 million. Even if he were to decide to come back, you're probably not bringing him back at a $40 million mark or a $35 million mark. He's probably going to come back and take a slight pay cut. So even if he takes up 30-ish million, maybe 25 million of that cap, you still have, $40+ million to spend on some players next year. So let's just get right into the predictions. Obviously, this team, I think, won 12 or 13 games last year, so obviously we're a very good team. They kind of sputtered a little bit towards the end. Obviously, a really good start. I think they were 11-1. And this year, I really don't know how they're not going to be at least a playoff team. Now, the division, I think, is so hard that there's a chance that they might not win the division. Doesn't mean they're a worse team than they were last year. It just means, teams like the Ravens and Cleveland, they're both very good teams as well. So I guess I have them anywhere from 10, maybe 9 to 11 wins, I think would be fine. Because I think it's going to be tough for them to beat Cleveland and Baltimore this year. But if they can win 1 or maybe even 2 of those 4 games, I think you can see the Pittsburgh Steelers getting to about 10 wins. The good news is, though, they are not a team that's going to actually rely on Roethlisberger to have to play well to win games, right? Obviously, last year their defense was very good. They're going to be very good this year. So even if Roethlisberger regresses even more, because again, he's now a year older, that's okay because they're able to win ball games without the quarterback being great. Okay, so that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like it, make sure to hit the like button, as that does help out the channel. And also consider subscribing, But that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys so much. Bye.